thank you for tuning in to another installment of Carl Bowley is Dropping Names podcast, with some names you may recognize, others you may not. I wanted to start off the new year, January 1st, 2025. First, wishing everyone a happy, healthy, and prosperous new year. I wanted to also acknowledge those who we have lost last year and the years prior, always keeping them in our thoughts, in our prayers, and in our hearts forever. And unfortunately, I want to also keep those prayers going for last night's tragedy that happened on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, my former residence. I spent a lot of time there on Bourbon Street, celebrating Mardi Gras, New Year's, and other festivities. And last night, it ended with a tragedy. Approximately 3:15 a.m., a crazed driver decided that his life and others were not worth anything and proceeded to drive at a high rate of speed through the crowd, killing, I believe it's about 12 people and injuring dozens others. Very sad and very, very tragic. Just don't understand why humans, we can't get along. I just don't understand that. But anyway, they're in our thoughts and in our prayers. Certainly their friends and families as well. So, but I wanted to also talk about the new year and all the exciting things that maybe some of us have planned, mainly resolutions. January 1st is always famous for resolutions, people making a list and cutting out sweets, cutting out drinking, cigarettes, working out, going to the gym, maybe making up with past, friendships that may have ended abruptly last year. Whatever it is, resolutions are always, good. You don't need January 1st of the, new year to, start your, changes in your life. But it's certainly, a popular time to do so. So if anybody is working on their resolutions, stick with it. Don't worry about doing it all year. The secret is just do it every day. I used to say when I first quit smoking years ago, yes, I used to smoke a long time. I said, I would say, I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow, but today I'm not going to smoke. And because it was always, tough the first day and then the first week, that was always, toughest thing. After that, it was pretty easy. I mean, you got past the first week, then it becomes, 2 weeks and, so on. It gets easier and easier. So my secret is I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow, but today I'm not going to smoke. So that's another thing that you may want to keep in mind when you are being challenged with the resolutions that you had set forth for yourself. I wanted to share something that I recently put on my Facebook that happened to get a little bit of attention. And I wanted to explain it in detail, how I came about making a list. This was something different. This wasn't like a resolution. This was a course that I had taken years ago when I first moved out to LA, trying to pursue, stunt work, possibly acting, um, and just found myself, just down in the ditches, working various jobs. I've worked every job in Los Angeles that you could imagine, every job from construction to Domino's Pizza to airport, shuttle, air freight, security guard at a burger joint. Um, a lot of different, escorting funerals, motorcycle cop. I looked like Ponzarello from Chips. Did that for 5 years. Um, so anyway, took this course, and this is not an endorsement for Tony Robbins, but that weird looking guy that, live with passion. You got to live with passion. And I figured, a couple of things that he would say during his infomercials kind of resonated with me. So um, the course was a 30-day, satisfaction guaranteed. And I will admit, I ordered it. I used it for like 28 days. Um, and I sent it back. I actually, recorded it. It was expensive back then. It was like $350. And I actually went to one of his seminars with a buddy of mine, Scott, model actor. For anybody that knows me personally, he knows that, Scott and I were pretty much attached to the hip. He was a popular model, but a fashion model, but he was, finding himself, stagnant. So he wanted to improve himself on certain things that he wanted to work on. So both of us went to this Tony Robbins, course, and back then, like I said, times were tough. I was eating Gino's Pizza and waffles every day. Lived in my car for 3 months. Sometimes at the airport with my cat. At the airport when it was cold because the international terminal had showers, and I was able to take showers there. So anyway, I was definitely at a rough time in my life. So there's one assignment that that Tony had instructed all of his listeners and paid subscribers, was to take 5 minutes and just, write down goals that you want to achieve in life and just be creative. He said, just, you know, and also be realistic. Don't say, I want to fly to the moon, because that's not really realistic. He says, but just, things that, you want to change about yourself, you want to own, the people that you want to meet, so on and so forth. So I'm scribbling down all these different things that I wanted to accomplish. The goals in Hollywood, personal goals, financial, so on and so forth. And I did this back in October of 91. Yes, I'm old. And so I made a list of things that I wanted to accomplish in life. And I believe I did about 25 things before the 5 minutes was up. The first 20 was pretty easy. Then I was just like, I was reaching for the stars there. But I got really, creative. 2008, I left LA. I left with my tail between my legs. I kind of was not really getting where I wanted to get. And so I moved from LA back to New York. Tragically, I was nursing my mother, who passed after that, 3 months after after coming home. So I was at an all-time low, and I was feeling low. I was feeling really, really low, and I started a moving company. I was moving people from house to house. I bought a truck, started, moving people. And my last job was moving 75 books up a four flights of stairs with my helper. I remember I charged him $350 to do this. And this guy was, I mean, he was a scholar. He had these big, big, heavy books. Broke my back. After about 3.5, 4 hours, I finished the job. My helper and I, only to find my truck mirror was broken off, $110 ticket, feeding my helper, and then also paying him. I had about $70. And that was a low point. And then a buddy of mine, Nick Herms, stunt guy, called me up just at the right time, but the worst time for me. It was raining. It was just a horrible thing. And he says, what are you doing? I said, Nick, my life's over with. He goes, well, I explained to him, what I made that day. He goes, dude, you're a stunt guy. Why did you stop? You know, get, get back on a horse, go to Detroit. They're starting there's a film incentive there, where it was attractive to production and the producers because there was a tax break on shooting movies there. And he says, go there, start over again. So I did. So I did, and I sold my truck next day or a couple of days after that to my sister. Hey, I'm moving to Detroit. She says, when? I said, now. She says, it's 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. I go, I'm out. I'm out. Packed my car and I drove to Detroit. And that's where everything changed. Just want to also give a shout out to stunt coordinator, second unit director, Jeff Wolf. He was the first person that I had approached, or hustled. I said, Jeff, I'm here. I'm living in Detroit now. As of now, I said, I've got nothing. I'm not looking for a sympathy, And he goes, dude, shut up. Go to wardrobe. I'm gonna put you in a scene. And that man gave me my first job back in the business. So Jeff, Jeff Wolf, man, you have no idea what you had started for me. Anyway, so um, as I was working, and I've done quite a bit of work there. Worked with some great guys there, Bonsai, Dan Lemieux, Ely, the bunch of people, Danny Mays, got to meet Danny Mays, different stuff people, really got the ball going. And so things progressed after that. And I promise this will make sense with the resolutions. I'm just dragging it out just a little bit. Anyway, so from there, tax incentive kind of was going from different places, and then I ended up in New Orleans. I was there for 4 years, working as a stuntman, a little bit of acting as well, and then finally I moved to Atlanta, where I'm part-time, living, and also in Hollywood, Florida. But getting back to my list, um, while searching in my file cabinet, just, discarding paperwork and stuff like that that I no longer have, use for, I found this list and I kind of was, looking at it, and out of the 25 things that I had listed, um, almost every single one of them I had accomplished. And I'm not going to go, through them specifically because they were just, my goals. But at the time, it was like reaching for the stars. I mean, it seemed so unattainable back then. Um, I wanted to buy a convertible Mercedes. Back then I couldn't afford, a full pizza pie, I would, buy slices. I mean, I was, I was, broke. I wanted to buy a house. Um, there was no way. There was other things, fix my teeth. I got quoted $18,000. Yes, I have caps and veneers and all that good stuff. But these things seem so far-fetched, or just so out of reach. Um, so um, I looked at it and I kind of realized that I put these things out there, out into the universe, I guess, but I wasn't conscious of it. Once I made the list there and I did the course, I was still in the same, position. I was still living with roommates. I had an old uh, Monte Carlo. I mean, it was no. I had Ford Granada that my buddy Gilbert Guerrero gave to me. He's another person that was instrumental in my life. But anyway, um, yeah, and I was, looking at this and I was like, oh my God, like I achieved almost all of these goals, not consciously. This was just something that I had just put out there. And it's kind of like, remember the secret where you put things out in the universe and you kind of will it, towards you? I guess that's what happened. I was put into situations where I was able to afford the Mercedes, um, um, meet and work with my favorite actors back then, Al Pacino, Travolta, De Niro, and having a speaking part on a commercial, McDonald's commercial, and just stuff that seemed so impossible back then. Situations were just occurring that was putting me in those, positions to get, you know, to check off this, list. So I guess what I'm saying is there's nothing special about me. I attribute um, and credit the people that put me in those situations. Friends like Wally and John Medlin, and I mean, so many stunt coordinators, Nuno Sadi, so many different people that put me in these situations to achieve these goals that I'd listed years ago. Um, so even if you're not achieving your goals immediately, make a list, whether it's short term or long term, make a list of what you want to achieve and say to yourself, what could I do today that would bring me closer to my goals tomorrow? And that's basically what I was doing. Um, whether it was hustling, which is basically, going to different movie sets, getting maybe about 90 seconds with the stunt coordinator, enough time to give them a headshot and a resume and speak with them, you know, if they were not, busy, or if they were generous to give you their time. Um, but yeah, I mean, uh, resolutions, making a list. These things are extremely helpful, instrumental in it, achieving whatever it is, whether it's breaking a habit or, starting a new job or looking for a relationship, which I'm not successful in yet. Okay. That was one of them that I didn't achieve. The other one was also getting a house for my mom and dad, which obviously I wasn't able to. I didn't, achieve, I guess, financial success um, when they were, here on earth. It was after the fact. So those were the only two things that I wasn't able to accomplish. And so yeah, I'm, once again, don't get discouraged if you make a resolution and then you break it, get back on a horse again. It doesn't mean that you have to wait until next January to start a new, resolution, or on a Monday, you know, wake up and just say, today I'm going to do whatever it is, whether it's quit smoking or start a online business or whatever it is. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. I'm living proof that it works. It definitely works. Write down that, list. Put your little what's that called when you put your, photos of the things that you want. I think it's a dream board, something like that. That plays on your subconscious. It really does. And it drives you towards those goals. As long as you, truly want them. They kind of will them to you. It's pretty nuts. But anyway, that's it. I just wanted to hop on and just share that with everybody. If you've got some resolutions, there's going to be new and exciting year. A lot of good things happening. WWE is going to be going to Netflix. Their first show in Phoenix. It's going to be on, and it's going to be opening up, doors to new viewerships around the world. So that's pretty exciting. And other things that are, happening this year. So keep the faith, stick with the plan, and never lose consciousness that every day is a blessing. That this could all end in a New York second. So hopefully everybody lives long, healthy, prosperous life from this point on. So thank you once again for allowing me to, enter your computer and take up some of your time. I really, really appreciate it. And if you like this or there's content that you may want to hear, I'm open to suggestions, good, bad, and ugly. Bring it on. I always say that. I actually prefer the ugly because it just kind of motivates me. I always said, let your haters be your motivators. Not that anybody's going to be, giving me hate mail, but if you feel like it, well, then yeah, sure, I'm open to that too. But again, happy 2025. Wow. My God, 2025. Thank you once again. Take care.